Welcome back to my next the At-One-Ment Experience. Um, my name is Rose. If this is your first video, I'm actually going to post a disclaimer below the video. I'm going to start putting that on each of my videos because when you're taking your focus and you're putting your focus in a particular place, you're actually consenting to an energy, and I want to really inform you what you're consenting to. So take a peek at that. I want to talk about the next step for us together. When we look at the word genocide, it can bring up lots of fear. I don't want to send the message that anyone needs to go into fear. This experience together is going to allow us to detangle the vibrational consents that allow for this to happen in our experience, that we're actually consenting to. It creates this symbiotic relationship to what we see on our outside world. And I wanted to show you something. I had to write this backwards because I didn't realize that this camera that I'm using, it was hilarious. I got going and I'm like, okay, that's all backwards. So me trying to write backwards, I had to do this a couple of times because I wrote this earlier with a B instead of a D. So I was cracking up because I wrote deep state, beep state. So deep state is what I do it in capital letters. That is kind of what we see in the outer. Deep state in lower caps is what's inside of us. So we've actually been carrying what we're seeing in our outer reality. We've been carrying it inside of us. And there was other things I wanted to do on the board, but I'm telling you, it took me a while just to write that backwards. So if you have a pencil and paper, grab it. It will help you a little bit on this part. I will try to do a little write-up and put it on my blog if you just want to see it there. We're going to begin with the spell that's currently on our planet, and the spell is chaos. Chaos is also disorder, confusion, disorganization, disruption, madness. You can look chaos up yourself. There's many words that fall under chaos. Chaos, I would call the base vibration. And all these other words that I'm telling you are just a frequency of that vibration. So think of chaos as channel 105. Think of disorder as 105.1, confusion 105.2, disorganization 105.3. You get what I'm saying. So sometimes you can look at the base vibration or the spell that is been enabled, and the base vibration may not be enough for you to find inside of you how you're connected to it. That's why I like using synonyms. So make a synonym search engine one of your go-tos, and it will really help you to find these things on your own. When we look at chaos, we also think of sensitivity to small change. Small change would be the details. So with each of the details that are within the chaos, there's a lot of those right now. So if you think of something, a particular subject that also creates chaos, to name a few, the V word, so we have the virus, we have 5G, we have adrenochrome, we have sex slavery. Okay, those are all details. When there is change, the details, small changes within the chaos, we become reactive or triggered, especially those who have done very little inner work will be having more come up for them, maybe more fear than others. A lot of us who've already done a lot of inner work are just taking this to new levels. We are still experiencing the same energy as everyone else. We are not different from you, only in the respect that we experience it differently than others who have not done some of their inner work may be experiencing it. But we're all being hit with the same energy at the same time. Now what I want to do is I want to talk about how a spell can be reversed. So let's invert the name chaos. So if you have your piece of paper, go ahead and write chaos backwards, S-O-A-H-C. Now we want to sound it out. And when you sound out chaos backwards, it's so, S-O, space, A-H, space, C, S-E-E. So, see. So I see. Remember that. Now let's take the AH and break it down with the word pleasure, surprise, delight, and also realize. R-E-A-L-E-Y-E-S. I love using that word in the place of how we normally spell realize. It can also be another way to use it as real lies, R-E-A-L-L-I-E-S. When we realize with our realize, you see the real lies. Get it? So anyway, I like having fun with some of that because when I write it out that way, it does something within me. It helps me to see it even more clearly. And when you start writing things out this way, it's like a deprogram. It's like we're deprogramming ourselves. Okay, so step 3. Step 3 is what I call the remedy. Now let's look at the remedy of chaos. Order, clarity, organization, and clear thinking. Order, clarity, organization, and clear thinking. So as I looked at this, what came to me was, what can I organize? What can I clear in my life that will remove the vibrational consent of chaos? So I decided I can go through my electronics and get rid of all these emails I've been hoarding and not deleting. So I can do that. I can organize my email. I can organize my room, my living space. I can organize when I'm feeling mind chatter by sitting down and meditating and quieting my mind. When we quiet our mind, that's also another way to organize. So think of ways that you can organize within yourself and you can organize in your life. As you organize, You remove vibrational consents of disorganization, which is a matching vibration to chaos. So more of this realization may come to you after this video that will expand even broader than what I'm talking about here with you now. It is not my job to teach you all this. I'm just giving you some tools that I personally use that's really helps me to recognize how I'm consenting to things that are happening in my reality. Okay, I want to take this another step with everyone. Now we already came to the understanding that small change can create those reactions or triggers when we have chaos around us, and chaos makes us sensitive to those small changes. Those small changes being the details. Details like 5G, the virus. There's so many things like the adrenochrome, child trafficking, slavery itself. All of the stuff is coming to the surface. So those are all details. Those details can actually keep you cycled. So look at the word tail. The word tail, and think about a dog. Think about a dog chasing its tail in a circle over and over. Now, let's take the word tail and flip it. L-I-A-T. L-I-A-T in Hebrew actually means you are mine. I can't make this up. Look it up for yourself. So when I looked at you are mine, that reminded me of how we have dogs in our life and we consider them ours. We take ownership of them. Now, let's take this further. Instead of the word dog, flip it. God chasing its tail. We hold the creative source inside us. It's our holy grail. It's in our heart. It's our God self. It's thyself. And think about God chasing its tail. Well, we know God wouldn't chase God's tail. Only one who does not embody and realize the one, thyself, who is God, would chase their tail. So as long as we continue to hold the vibration of the dog and continue to chase our tail, it prevents our awareness from seeing thyself, our God self. Now let's take it to the next step. Details. Those are the details that keep us chasing our tail. Remove the tail. D-E-T-A-I-L. D-tail. Take the fucking tail off. When you remove the tail, you're removing the details that are creating the circle. So, I'm not saying to put your head in the sand. I'm saying look at the information. The information is light. Sharing the information is just one step. The sharing of the information brings the deep state into our awareness because we want it up here where we're aware of it. But know that everything that's coming past your eyes in social media, that's coming into your awareness, you have an inner connection to. That's why I wanted to draw this out. So the deep state, the things you're seeing in social media, the people call conspiracy, consider that there's something to it. Consider that you cannot recognize the deep state because of the deep state that you hold inside. The more you're willing to see the deep state, the more this will awaken. The more of this you awaken, it will begin to grow your discernment. That discernment grows naturally, and the shifting of the decisions you make will happen naturally if you're willing to look at things, especially those things called conspiracy. Really look at them and say, what if it is true? That gives it an opportunity to tap into that part of you you're not aware of. So to get back to this, the tail is a representation of ownership, and you can remove that ownership. They tell you in the word that they own you. This is an example of how mind control works. As your discernment grows because of your willingness to look at things and say, what if? What if that is true? And allow yourself to look at things from different angles. Consider another person's perspective. If you don't understand it and it's triggering you, talk to them. Don't just lash out and give them your piece of your mind. Ask them, help me to understand how you can think this way. Help me to understand how you can say these things, because I don't feel like you care. When you come to someone from a place of question, a place of an open heart, it will allow things to unfold. It will allow you to tap in to that energy that you are intended and entitled to have. That unconditional love that's being sent to you cannot enter your system. You are blocking it and diverting it into the fear matrix every time you say no, every time you ignore, every time you're not willing to hold your heart open, every time you lash out at someone and you just want to give them a piece of your mind, or you just want to use them as a bouncing board. You're diverting unconditional love into the matrix of fear. This is what helps chaos stay alive. And it keeps you chasing your tail in the details. And while everyone's chasing their tail, the real agenda keeps unfolding. They have one leg up on us. But through this At-One-Ment work, we can come through the back door in a way they've never experienced before. And when I say they, and I'm not saying they as being a perpetrator, this is a way for us all to realize that we are helping this to be alive. We are keeping this in motion through our deep state here. Okay, that was a little bit longer than I expected, but we will end there, and I hope you enjoyed this At-One-Ment experience. I look forward to the next, and Thank you so much for participating.